What's up, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today we are covering the King of the Gridiron tournament on DraftKings. It's a 4-week tournament with $100,000 to first place. This is the third of 4 weeks. Let's jump right into my lineup. As you can see, not a great week again. We did really well week 1. Week 2 and 3 have not been so well. And I was kind of, hindsight's always 20/20, but I was thinking after we had such a good start week 1, that maybe I should have played it a little bit safer in these week 2 and 3. Of course, it's easy to say now after we've had 2 bad performances the last couple weeks. However, I am overall, I'm happy with this lineup. And I've been trying to get more in the mind frame of judging my lineups as soon as I see the ownerships, because truthfully, we don't know what's going to happen in the games. We can only make our best projections or our best guesses or whatever the case may be. So really for me, how I judge my tournament lineups is based off the ownership. So looking at these ownerships, I'm actually really happy. When the slate started and I got to see these guys, specifically, I thought Singletary at under 10%. I was set on playing one of the Bucks guys. I thought that one of the Bucks guys was going to get there. I was between Godwin and Fournette all week, and obviously I made the wrong decision based off of results, but I was okay with my process of, wanting to get at least one Tampa Bay player in there, even though I knew they would be really popular. I ended up going with Godwin. I could have gone Fournette for sure. So bad move there based off results, but I was happy with my process of wanting to get at least one Tampa Bay player in there. Godwin started off really hot, and then I think he had one catch in the second half. So just not a great week overall. Singletary is one of those guys who projected really well, and I thought that Buffalo might come in, heavily owned, especially Josh Allen. We knew that he was going to be popular. I thought that Singletary was really good leverage off of Josh Allen. Of course, it didn't work out. I wonder if we can pull up. He didn't even have any touches really. 6 attempts and 2 targets. I mean, obviously that's not great. I don't know how you could have projected him for that few of targets, or that few of touches. It is what it is. It's not always going to work out, but I'm really happy to get a team with as high of a team total as Buffalo had this week and get the running back at under 10%. I'm happy with that. Obviously the result didn't work out. That's okay. You're not going to win them all. So I will say that I started out with Jalen Hurts, and then I forget who I had in this Kittle spot originally, but I had Hurts with paired with A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown, and then I had I'm totally blanking on who I had in the flex spot here. I want to say maybe Goddard. I'm pretty sure that maybe that was it, because I had Hurts and I double stacked him, so I'm pretty sure it was Goddard that I had here. After the early games obviously didn't go my way. We had Singletary. We had Stevenson, who did well, but obviously Singletary, Godwin at chalk didn't do anything. John Bates, I was okay with John Bates. I was stuck on Cade Otton pretty much all week. I thought he would get steamed in this contest, and he did. He was at 15-16% ownership. And I had Bates with a similar projection after Logan Thomas got ruled out, and so to get him at a third of the ownership there off of Cade Otton, I think was right. And again, it's not always going to work out. We just have to kind of take things. You have to figure out things to improve your process rather than focusing on getting the players right, because we're not going to get the players right all the time. It's just impossible. There's a lot left up to chance here. So I was okay with coming down to John Bates at under 5%. And then I needed to pivot. I had ground to make up after the early games. I knew Jalen Hurts was going to be really heavily owned. And one of the reasons that I went with Jalen Hurts is because I knew I would have that pivot optionality off to Kyler Murray, who I knew would come in, this low owned. And also you could get a really good idea of how owned Jalen Hurts was going to be, because he was in the afternoon game. And so Josh Allen and Tom Brady were, of course, going to be the two of the highest owned quarterbacks. So if you took their ownerships and then in this contest, it combined for about 45% ownership. Now, that's not a whole lot. So I knew that Hurts would come in, 20, 25% owned possibly. I think he ended up coming around 20% owned. And with me needing to make up ground in the afternoon games, it was a no-brainer to switch to Kyler Murray, get a third, a fourth of the ownership, get on to George Kittle under 5%. So I know this is going to sound crazy, and for some people this might not make any sense at all. I'm actually pretty happy with the way I played it this week. Of course, we did really bad. The results are not always going to be in your favor, but I was okay with my lineup this week. It just didn't work out. If I were to change anything, it would strictly be, maybe after the first week realizing I was in a good position. I was 18th place after the first week, so maybe I should have taken more of a cash game approach, with a slight, tournament pivots here and there. So it is what it is. You can't go back, but I think for future reference, if I do get off to a good start in that first week one in a multi-week tournament, then maybe I should play it a little bit safer. But let's check out the top lineup from this week. Really solid. Obviously, Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, that was the difference maker. If you had those guys, it would have been really hard not to cash. You can see double stacked with Shakir, who became a late play. 22%. This is really tough pill to swallow for someone who has literally a 0-point floor. He had 3 receptions, and went for 75 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty much a ceiling performance on 3 catches, and at 22%. I honestly think that's a bad play. Again, it's like one of those things, it's a bad play, but it worked out. And you can have good plays and they don't work out. It is what it is. But overall, I think this lamp's really, really nice. Najee Harris at less than 1%. Insane. And again, I know that it didn't work out, but I base things off of ownership. Getting this correlation with Josh Allen, with Najee Harris, who has the ability to rack up a bunch of catches and can't really get can't really get game scripted out because he is involved in the pass game. So I think getting Najee Harris at under 1% here is awesome. Ramondre Stevenson obviously got a pretty big boost from Damian Harris going out, but I thought Ramondre was a great play. 17% ownership. I think this is fair. I liked Ramondre. He also played Marquise Brown like I did at 12, 13%. Marquise Brown has done really well to start the season. In fact, if you look at him compared to the top end wide receivers, he's right up there. And I think if we were redrafting today, he might go in the 3rd, 4th round. Obviously, with DeAndre Hopkins coming back, you'd expect this to slow down a little bit. But for now, Marquise Brown has been great, and this price tag has been keeping his ownership down. So we'll continue to monitor that. Obviously, Gabe Davis, 6% owned. This is probably the play of the week. And I had a Josh Allen, Gabe Davis stack over on FanDuel that ended up doing pretty well. But that was the key. It's if you can get the ceiling quarterback paired with the guy that has the best production from his pass catchers, it's amazing. Now again, similar to Shakir, you're just running so hot on 3 receptions, 2 receiving touchdowns, 171 yards. I believe their first possession was he had a 98-yard touchdown, which is basically if you consider him getting the 100-yard receiving bonus later in the game, a 98, 99-yard touchdown is basically 20 points in one play. It's massive. So, he ran really, really hot. 6 catches. His 2 receivers from Josh Allen had 6 catches, and they went for over 50 points. You know what I mean? It's just it's not going to happen every week, but hey, it worked out this week. And I like getting some exposure to the Philly offense. And then because, this is an interesting play. Jeff Wilson, I thought was going to come in really highly owned. I thought he was a bad tournament play, especially at 30% ownership. Now, with that being said, Jeff Wilson was an afternoon player. So if you have Josh Allen and Gabe Davis and Shakir and Stevenson, your morning players just did really, really, really well, and you're in a position to get first place, absolutely play that chalk. Play that guy that's going to be 30% ownership who has somewhat of a low floor but is projecting really, really well. But because you're in a position to just kind of maintain your spot. So I'm pretty sure WMM here was, top 3 or top 4 heading into the afternoon games. So absolutely, I would have done the same thing. I would have played Jeff Wilson, even at this high ownership. That's okay because he's just trying to maintain. So, and same thing with Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense, terrible tournament play. I don't care about the 23 points. If you played them in tournaments, especially because they were an afternoon game and you had ground to make up, it's a losing play overall. Now back to what I said, because WMM here was doing really well after the morning games, he now is in a position to just maintain. So at that point, I would have done the same thing. I would have played the highest projected owned players from from there on out. So Jeff Wilson, Cowboys D, amazing. I think this is a really, really great lineup overall. Did he run hot a little bit? Of course, but that's going to happen when you get first place. Like there's always a little bit of luck involved. So it is what it is. So congrats to WMM. As far as where we're at in the tournament overall, I don't think the official standings are up yet. Let's check it out. I haven't checked this before. Oh yeah, they are actually. So we got to scroll to come find my name. Here we go, 88th. That's a bummer. It's a bummer. I don't really think I don't think we have a shot to get first place. There are weekly prizes, so I'm just going to be shooting for first place next week. We could still turn a profit if we get top 7, I believe, in the tournament. So really got to shoot for a ceiling next week. Ben Stunner looks like he's in first place by a decent margin. 11.5 points. So congrats to him as of right now. Unfortunately, we're in 88th place, but we'll see if we can't turn a profit in this tournament. I appreciate you tuning in. Sorry I couldn't do better, and hopefully I'll do more tournaments like this in the future, and we can have some better luck. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and good luck in week 6.